So we've been using TeamGantt for about 6 months now. Over the course of those 6 months, our company has grown about 30% in total revenue. It's been several months since I've gone to an active job site because this system is working. The guys are updating this regularly. As long as they are, I don't need to be there. I'm able to stand right here in my office and see what's happening at every job that we're doing.
Hey David, hey, thanks for talking with us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to do it.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so we're a kitchen and bathroom remodeling company in the Baltimore, Maryland area. We've been in business for about 10 years, but prior to getting into specifically kitchens and bathrooms, we did everything. So whole wide range of, services from additions to roofs to decks. And over the last couple of years, we've really tried to be able to streamline and niche down. And so we kind of took a step back and we said, hey, what are we the most efficient at? What do we do the best? And we realized that the answer to that question was kitchens and bathrooms. And so that's when we kind of pivoted and we decided, hey, we're going to just rebrand a little bit. So now we're DayBrook Kitchen and Baths. We used to be DayBrook Construction, but since we made the change to just doing kitchens and baths, I was afraid that we'd have a little dip in revenue, but the opposite happened. We've become much more efficient in many ways, thanks to TeamGantt as well. But having just two services to offer as opposed to all these other services has helped us a lot. So yeah, we do remodeling services in the Baltimore area, primarily residential. We do some commercial, but yeah.
All right, so David, what major challenges did you face before using TeamGantt in relation to project management?
Yeah, so in relation to project management, so just a little bit of back history of how the company all started. It was me, a pickup truck, and three guys, and that's how the company started. And so I'm very much so a doer, blue collar worker, carpenter. And so I didn't have a whole lot of back end administrative tools, to pull from. It was just kind of like a Google Sheets empire. It's like a lot of stuff in different places. A lot of stuff didn't even make it into the computer. And so as the company started to grow, more so over the last couple years that we've really been trying to scale the company, I realized everything couldn't live in here. And that's how it was before. I just knew, well, on the Jones job, we've got this coming up. On the Smith job, we got this coming up. And it was all just kind of in here. And so as I started hiring people, it was like, hey, what's going on over here? And I found myself on the phone all day, every day. And I was, not able to really set myself on one task and do one thing effectively because literally, and people around me can attest to this, it was all day phone calls as we started, adding crews and, hey, what are we supposed to be doing over here? What's the paint color for this? And so I quickly realized there's no way to scale unless we have some sort of back end tool where we can all collaborate. And so the biggest challenge was just being on the phone all day, having to fill this guy in on what we discussed here. And, oh, well, this customer wanted that. And, TeamGantt has eliminated all of that confusion. Now, we all work off of, the customer's project. All of the tasks are in there. Everybody knows what they're doing. Prior to all of this, again, it was just, oh, well, I thought they said this, I thought they said that, and we didn't really have we had a CRM that we were working on. We've been working off of a CRM for, since I started the company 10 years ago. But the most CRMs, I'll say it that way, are not project management tools. There's a big difference, a fundamental difference. And yes, we could store notes in the CRM. We could even upload documents to it. But then that's actually how we started was, okay, so we'll have a project file for each customer. So we had a Word document. And I would I would just copy and paste everything over from the estimate into the Word document, and then I would upload it. But then there's this little thing called change orders in the construction world. And so if something changed, I didn't have a chance to re-download that Word document, edit it, and re-upload it to the CRM. People would go to that Word document and it wasn't accurate. And so, TeamGantt has also allowed us to make changes in real time. We have guys out in the field that are using this on their phones, on their tablets. They're able to make a change per something the customer requests in the field. And we see that immediately on our end, so it's drastically helped us with just collaboration. That's the biggest thing. Again, if you're a solopreneur, can you do it without TeamGantt? Maybe. TeamGantt has some great options for one-man shows too, but having a team of people, you cannot run it without a project management tool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you guys run into any project delays or things slipping through the cracks?
Oh yeah.
Project management system?
Yeah, for sure. Mainly, just like I said, a breakdown of communication internally, breakdown of communication when the customer mentions something to the tech and it doesn't get back to the office. So having that feature in TeamGantt where we're able to comment to one another is huge. Hey, at Carly, XYZ. And so our guys do that all day long. Prior to having TeamGantt, we experienced a lot of delays because of that breakdown in communication. It was just, in addition to the breakdown in communication, we weren't able to project. We've never been good at projecting things out, It's always just been, hey, we've got this job coming up. Oh, okay, cool. Let's make sure we have everything. Now, we have jobs. We're actually currently booking out into like July. But what we can do is, because we've created that project template, we're able to say, okay, let's go ahead and look in advance at some of the materials that we need. We know that there's been a delay on this or that, and we can look at all of that based on the one project template that we built. And we know, okay, for a bathroom, we're going to need these materials. And, with some of this stuff happening right now with the tariffs and economic uncertainty and all that, we have to know, if we're starting this bathroom remodel on July 5th, we have to have X, Y, Z. So being able to project out in advance and having that on the calendar. In fact, behind me, you can see we have this big screen. We have several of them around here in the office where we're all able to see all of our projects. And we're able to see what's upcoming. And that has cut down drastically on delays, because you'd be surprised how many times we'd be like getting ready to start a job and we're like, hey, did we order the vanity yet? Oh crap, it's a 2-week wait time on the vanity. Now we got to delay the job, and then it becomes a source of contention with the customer. And it's just, so now, again, I don't know how much of this we'll get into during this interview, but I can show you how we have a task that is design material purchase, and then a task that's building material purchase. And then within each one of those in the notes section, we put a link to each item that we need to purchase, when it'll be in by, once it's purchased, the tracking number. So in answer to your question, we experienced a lot of delays before, and having TeamGantt has really helped us stay on a timeline, on track. And then two, the other part of that is when a customer calls and says, hey, where are we in the project? We can all pull out either our phone or get on the computer and say, oh, okay, it looks like the guys have completed the rough in. Looks like they're done with cement board. We should be getting to tile sometime tomorrow. So we all have the answers to those questions that we weren't able to answer before, because we're all working off the same data.
That's awesome. And I think it's interesting too, because delays in any kind of construction project, they don't always happen just at the installation or phase or when you're doing the work. It can be in the procurement, in the, making sure the materials are selected on time, making sure they're ordered on time, all that.
Absolutely.
Sure. So yeah, when you're searching for a tool like TeamGantt, what were you looking for, and what else did you consider?
Yeah, so by the time we got to TeamGantt, we were actually working off of House Pro. House Pro is very intuitive. It's got a lot of great features, but what we didn't have was a way to really project what was coming at that point. I know that they've now integrated some tools which still aren't quite what we get with TeamGantt. But we were doing really good in real time. Like if we could get to the job, we knew, okay, we can make this happen. But we didn't have a way of really filling the pipeline, and any healthy business needs to have a strong pipeline, a strong list of projected jobs that are coming up. TeamGantt allowed us to build out that pipeline, view it on a calendar view. So we know, okay, is there going to be any conflict with these existing jobs? And we didn't really look at any other tools, because when we found TeamGantt, it just checked all the boxes that we needed. Like I said, we were using House as a CRM, and then they started implementing some scheduling tools. But really, the scheduling feature was the biggest thing that we needed. Now, TeamGantt, like I said, once we tried it out, it did the trick for us. And the main thing was that scheduling piece, which we didn't even know we would use to the extent that we use it now. Like we actually schedule each of our crews, their labor schedules and all of their tasks and their update. We just thought it would be a tool we would use internally. We use it actually as a work order system. So when we have our crew go out, they get their whole work order for that day and that week in their task that they're assigned to, in TeamGantt. So that was actually a bonus for us. We were just thinking it would work as a really, feature rich calendar for us internally in the office. But it turns out, like I said, we've got our guys on it now.
All right, so getting started with TeamGantt, how easy or difficult was it for you?
Getting started with TeamGantt was really easy. There are a ton of support videos, tutorial videos on there. There's a little chat bot that pops up. There's really no excuse not to be able to, get in and build your first project, because if you need support, it's there, in several different ways. And I will say, in comparison to, I don't want to bash any specific app, but in comparison to another app that we used, there was very little. I mean, we did some searching on YouTube specifically for video tutorials on the different features, and we found very little. TeamGantt, you don't even have to really go searching on YouTube. You guys have like the actual tutorial videos in there readily available, really good quality videos. So no, getting started was definitely much easier than other programs we've used before.
So David, can you tell us what it's like to use TeamGantt on a daily basis? Walk us through, your projects and how you use it.
Yeah, definitely. So it's how we use TeamGantt here at DayBrook Kitchen and Baths. When we first signed up for a trial account, we built out a few projects, and we would come over here to where it says My Projects, which shows a list of all of our projects. And that was great when we only had a few in here. But once we started adding a bunch to it, it got a little bit laborious to scroll all the way down, to the project we were trying to find. And so we were made aware of this page here, which is actually on the sidebar. It's the portfolio page. And we set up this page. In fact, this is the home screen for all of our staff here in the office. And what we have here is a couple different folders that we created. One is our active projects. The one beneath that is our upcoming projects. And then we have anything else under that. So like marketing. And the cool thing too is we came over here and favorited these two. Which keeps them up at the top, So as we continue to build out, even more folders, this is the one we're obviously hitting the most throughout the day. So we wanted that one to be up at the top, and then upcoming projects is right under that. So we're, projecting forward, making sure we're planning for that. So yeah, so active projects has everything we're working on currently, where we all have, crews at the moment, and then upcoming projects would be everything that's in the pipeline. And what's upcoming. And so I can show you kind of just the breakdown of how, a typical project we set it up in TeamGantt, how we break down into folders and so on and so forth. So if I open up this one, this gives you an idea of how we're breaking it out. So we title it first name, last name of the customer, dash whatever it is that we're doing, whatever the scope is. So this would be obviously a bathroom remodel. And then we've got these three tabs here, which are pre-installation. And so this has all of our tasks of things that we need to complete prior to actually getting boots on the ground and installing. So you can see we have an admin section, and then the tasks that correspond with that. And I've even put in parentheses here, which helped us a lot too, because I would tell our team, hey, this is when we need to get this done. But having it in parentheses, like actually when it needs to get done, what we've been able to do is really build a framework for our entire company. And this is the goal, and what I'm constantly telling our staff. When we build out these projects, we need to do it in such a way that if all of us were gone, literally complete strangers could step into the company tomorrow and keep running the company. And that's what TeamGantt has allowed us to do, because everything is spelled out. So like, okay, pre-installation on a bathroom remodel, these are all the things that we got to get done. You can see over here, we've assigned them to the different administrative team members that are handling those. And then, and then we've got a production section down here, which would be, build the labor schedule. So even that piece of it, we've created a task for it, whereas before it was just, oh, we landed a new project, someone needs to build out the labor schedule. But that comes in, the pre-installation section. So we know, okay, Uriel's responsible for building out that labor schedule and making sure that it's being done by the date that we set, which you can see here. We haven't set a date for that yet, which we need to do. But then we have the installation in progress section here, this grouping of tasks. And within the installation in progress section, we have the labor schedule. So this task actually corresponds to this group of tasks, which is our labor schedule. And so for this, we have demo, rough-in, and HVAC, which would be 1 day, drywall, painting, and cement board. Anyway, I don't have to go through each one of the tasks, but this is our actual work order. Yeah. So I pulled this from our upcoming, so we haven't assigned this yet to a crew leader. But our crew leaders are all loaded into TeamGantt. So if we decided that we were going to, assign this to one of them, that we would put their name there, it would pop up, and then they would be assigned to it. And then when they click on it, and I don't know for certain if this one has been built out yet with the particular scope of the job. Oh, yep, it has. So when you click on it, then in the notes section, we have just that work order and what they're going to be doing at that job. And they're able to come in here. And when we get down the road a little bit more on the project, we'll actually put checklist items in here for them to check off each day, that they're say they're coming in for demo. We would put in here, hey, make sure there's appropriate drop cloth coverage. Make sure you guys, check in with the customer before you leave, all that kind of thing is just here as little check boxes. So then our crew leader will come in, he'll look over the scope, and then the best part about this for us has been this comment section down here, because he's able to then come in here and say, hey, at Carly, who is our project coordinator, he can say, I ran out of such and such, or whatever. And immediately, because she's in the office all day checking this, she's going to get that notification and she'll be able to do whatever needs to happen in order to make sure he's got what he needs to proceed for the next day. And then down here we have the post installation, which is just that. Once the installation is over, we go through our pre-installation, our post-installation, or our pre-installation, installation in progress, and then post-installation. And this is where, a little bit more on the admin side. And you can see we've made tags as well, labels, where, we can know, not only do we assign it to a person, but we also assign it to a department. So each one of these labels represents a department within our business, so that if someone's out, for example, for that week that oversees this normally, I can come in and say, okay, well, Kaylin handles admin. She's out of the office this week, and I can just look at all of her tasks by filtering by label. And then everything that's assigned to her is under admin, and I can see all of those on any of these views up here, which has been awesome for us, because we've had to do that a few times. In fact, our production manager is going out of town tomorrow, so I'm going to be able to come in here and look at filter. It won't work with this project because we haven't put all the labels in, but then I can filter. Actually, I might have already put these in. Yeah, I can filter by production, which then shows me any tasks that correspond to production, which is a super cool feature. And the cool thing about that too is those labels are fully customizable. You can change the colors, you can add as many as you want. You can see here, these represent all the departments in our business. And so that's pretty much how we run it. I mean, that's a pretty basic project there. You can see we have our post-installation tasks that we go through, down to collecting the balance, requesting a review, and then updating our Google Drive with job details and pictures. So that's how we run it on an average project.
Fantastic. And so all the people that are in the field using the comment feature and tagging people and sending messages, they're all doing it from their phones, right? How's that process been for them?
Yeah, really good, really good. I think one of them uses an iPad, but for the most part, they're all using it on their phone. Yeah, so see, like, we get a comment at the end of each day with what was done. And then this is super cool too. Like, we can actually look at pictures of where they are in the process. This siding looks great. They just finished this up. Obviously, they got a little bit of painting to do here still. But yeah, so not only comments, but we get pictures, and they're required to do, pictures every day as well.
That's great. So you actually require them at the end of every day, take pictures of what you got, of what you did.
Yep. And then the percentages get completed as they update them here as well.
So you're now not having to go to the job site as much, right? And you always know, like, does that change things for you in terms of, well, now you have the people that are doing the work actually updating the pictures and the progress. So your Gantt chart is a living, breathing Gantt chart at this point, right?
It is. I haven't been to an active job site in months. Literally months.
Wow.
It's been several months since I've gone to an active job site, because this system is working. The guys are updating this regularly, and as long as they are, I don't need to be there. I'm able to stand right here in my office and see what's happening at every job that we're doing. And I'm getting more information many times than when I was visiting all of the sites. So obviously I have a production manager who does site visits at our jobs, pretty regularly still, but even that, there hasn't been a need to go collect information, take pictures or anything like that, because at the end of the day, we're getting all of that information. And we incentivize our guys to do this too. It's like, hey, we need to come in on this timeline. We agreed on, all of our start and end dates are in here, you know what I mean? And we'll have our crew leaders actually in the office before we start a job in our production meeting. And we'll say, hey, you tell us, how long is this task going to take? And then whatever we all agree on and we feel that is reasonable, we say, okay, let's keep it on track. Let's make sure, unless barring there's some unforeseen act of God that doesn't allow us to, hit that target, as long as we do, and as long as we get a 5-star review at the end of that project, the guys get a pretty healthy bonus and they love it. And since then, our 5-star reviews have gone up. Our productivity has gone way up because we're checking in. The comments are there, the pictures are there and all of that. And then if there is something pertinent that the customer needs to know, the guys are letting us know in the office and we're able to handle that communication.
Do you feel like you're actually able to do more billable work now that you have a systemized process?
I will say this at the expense of sounding unorganized. We had a lot of change order work that never got billed prior to TeamGantt because there were just little things. And in an effort to keep the project moving, I would get a phone call, as I discussed at the beginning of the interview. I'd get a phone call. It's like, hey, rotted subfloor is one that we run into pretty frequently, or, mold on the joist or whatever. I would just say, take care of it so we can keep moving, and I'll square up with the customer later. That doesn't happen anymore, because now when those items happen, we've kind of just tried to make it, a default, like, hey, put it in TeamGantt. Like, regardless of whether we're going to have a conversation about it or not, we want it in TeamGantt. And so what that does is that it allows us at the end of the project to go through, and during our, checklist, we're closing out this project. We're making sure everything was done. We're making sure the punch list was completed. And then we're able to see also, oh, hey, remember we did this. Did we bill yet that change order? So in answer to your question, absolutely. We've been able to bill more, and we've been able to remember to bill, some of these things that when we're just in the heat of it, it's like, okay, just get it done. We'll, so yeah, it allows us to look over everything, figure out if there was anything that we missed, anything that hadn't been billed, and then we can do it based on the data that's in there. So
what type of business growth have you seen since using TeamGantt?
Yeah, so we've been using TeamGantt for about 6 months now. Over the course of those 6 months, our company has grown about 30% in total revenue. Now, we largely attribute that growth, a big portion of that growth, to TeamGantt, because my wife and I kind of made the decision a couple years ago. Like I said, we started the business about 10 years ago, but a couple years ago, we made the decision that I wasn't going to be the guy doing physical labor anymore, and that we were going to try and scale the company. So as we started, making an attempt to scale the company, work me out of the labor position and into more of a sales management position, we quickly realized that would not be possible without a project management tool. So, like I said, we had tried a few different over the last couple of years, but about 6 months ago, we really locked in with TeamGantt, and we started just seeing tremendous efficiency. We were able to hire other team members and add them and collaborate through the tool. So it's been really, really, really instrumental in our growth. And like I said, we've grown 30%. To put, a specific percentage of how much of that came because of TeamGantt is difficult to do, other than the fact that, hey, our team is now able to collaborate, which has allowed us to handle more volume of projects, a higher number of projects, because we're able to manage all of that and having it all on one place, all the data, collaborating on it. I would say a large portion of that growth that we've experienced in the last 6 months has been because of TeamGantt.
All right, David, that's been awesome. So much good information. I think this will be very helpful to a lot of remodelers and people in construction. So thank you so much for taking your time to walk everyone through how you plan your projects.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.